Oh, nothing that would help us. Tell me, brother, why exactly are we doing this?
I do not know.
Oh, that's comforting. Look, I know you expect more from the smartest man alive, but Odin always kept me in the dark about this place. Which is why I asked you to seek Freya's guidance. Repeatedly.
She does not seem eager to speak with me.
Quite the opposite, brother. But you tell yourself whatever you meet.
I see a shore ahead. Black sand.
Exactly as described in the invitation. We finally bloody made it.
Something's happening.
Back to basics then.
Alright, so I want to talk about my experience going into Valhalla. And what made me want to do the Valhalla bosses and everything and all the other sorts. Like, no questions asked, right? I want to talk about why I even bothered replaying or re-downloading Ragnarok and playing it, right? So I made a video like months upon months back, maybe about a month or two now, I can't remember, where I specifically talked about how I really dislike, and this isn't a minor opinion, this is a lot of people's opinions on how I do not like Ragnarok's gameplay, right? But the story, I really do, I fucks with the story heavy in terms of God of War 4 and Ragnarok, but I just really don't fucks with the gameplay. And I know I talked about that, but I wanted to, for some reason, I remember it was yesterday, I wanted to reinstall the game because I was sitting there, I was watching the final cutscene in Valhalla of Kratos meeting younger Kratos, and I was, and I was like, I want to play Valhalla. I want to experience Valhalla so I can actually genuinely get my own opinions and thoughts on Valhalla out there, you know, for people that can want to take my opinion and whatnot and, you know, and all that, right? So I decided to install the game again. I decided to install Ragnarok, not to play Ragnarok, but to play Valhalla, the DLC. Not the main game, because I already know those games are just Last of Us, but God of War, okay? I've heard all the negative shit. I don't care about that. That is in the past. I care about Valhalla and what Valhalla does for its gameplay and whatnot, right? So, basically, Valhalla, in a nutshell, is Kratos and Mimir going to this mysterious, washy shore, in a way, what you guys saw in the intro. And basically, they go into Valhalla, and Valhalla is like these multiple different areas where you go around hacking and slashing enemies all day. And you also fight boss in between that, and you also do rifts, and then you also fight Tyr, right? And I'm not gonna lie, Valhalla as free DLC is easily one of the coolest things I think God of War has ever done as a series. Because I feel like if this was made by another company, they would have definitely charged you guys, or charged all of us a fucking fee of like $5-10 to play the Valhalla DLC. I bet you they would have done that, but no. Santa Monica said, you know what? Fuck that energy. Let's not have these guys pay for that. And I thought that was easily one of the coolest things about Valhalla. But when I played Valhalla, since I played this on like either the lowest difficulty, because I essentially, whenever I play a God of War game, I just want to get through it. I just want to have fun, okay? I don't want to just sit there and struggle all day, right? And part of the fun in Valhalla is to go in Valhalla. You fight all day long. You go into these rooms, you fight enemies, you win or you lose, right? And then you get sent back to the shore, and then you have to go in and start a new run or start a new attempt over and over and over again. That's basically the fun of Valhalla. Like, the challenge of Valhalla is, again, you going in and experiencing what Valhalla has to offer you, meaning you fight Modi, or, you know, you fight different monsters and creatures from the Ragnarok game and whatnot. And to be honest, I didn't care. Since I have this on the easiest difficulty, because I could care less about the challenge. You guys know me. When it comes to challenge, I'm either on that energy or I'm completely off that energy. There's no in-between for me nowadays. It feels like I either want all the challenge in the universe or I don't even want all the challenge in the universe at all, right? So that's why I kind of put Valhalla in easy mode and kind of ran through it. Because I felt like, let's see how God of War Valhalla is on the easiest difficulty. I want to test that out. I want to see. I want to beat it. I want to be done with it. I want to get it out of my life, right? Because I have this God of War itch. And obviously, when I want this God of War itch, I basically go to wanting to play God of War. I have these little itches and these little cravings to play God of War. And since I didn't have much choice, that's why I decided to play Valhalla. Because I was like, it's either Valhalla, Ragnarok, God of War 4, or Ascension, which I don't have money for Ascension right now. So that's why I couldn't do that. It was either God of War 4, which I already didn't like for its slugginess, its slower, sluggish gameplay and whatnot, right? So I just said, fuck it, let's just download the PS5 version of Ragnarok and get the PS5 version of Valhalla, the Valhalla DLC, whatever, and let's give it a play, right? So I went in there, gave it a play. I thought the experience, since I wasn't dying too much since it was easy mode, even if it was easy mode, I would argue that Valhalla still was fun for me somewhat. And this is funny because earlier I said I never had fun with the gameplay. Because in the main game, you're doing this all day. Freya, what are we doing today? Kratos, we are on an adventure. And that's what you're doing for most of the game. And then you're also doing the hacking, slashing, the combos with the blades, and then the Leviathan Axe, right? You're doing combos, you're doing all that nasty, cool stuff, right? Somewhat. You do that in between. But there's so much walking and talking, which I love Valhalla, because essentially, Valhalla, in some ways more than one, they get rid of / negate issues I had with base Ragnarok and base God of War 4. For example, there are some cutscenes when you go through the game, like meeting Helios, which I thought was cool, getting the Blades of Olympus. There's some unskippable cutscenes and unskippable events, but there was nowhere near as much unskippable stuff or super crazy cinematic stuff like it was in the base Ragnarok game, right? And I like it because there isn't that much talky. It's all about slashy in its own weird way, right? And I love that about Ragnarok, or Valhalla, right? I love how it's less this and less do puzzle bullshit to progress. It's all about running the hands with monsters over and over and over again, and the higher floors you go, the stronger or weaker the monsters will be, right? And that's fun. And then also going back to Greece over and over again and learning about the boat captain and learning about all of his other stuff I thought was pretty cool going back to Greece. Obviously nostalgia bait, but pretty much what Greece was. But it is Kratos' past, so it just makes sense why we would go back here. And, you know, like I said, all those moments are cool, but, like, I always thought about, like, when players die on really good attempts on, either the boss battle, aka, like, one of the boss battles throughout the many doors you go through in Valhalla, or the rifts you have to close, up in Valhalla. I loved and I really hated all that, right? Because you can be on a good run, you die, immediately spawn all the way back and have to restart all of your progress all over again. For me, I don't find enjoyment from that. Whenever I go through Valhalla and die and have to redo everything again. Because it just feels like endless, dumbass repeating until you get the perfect run right. And I mean this. Obviously, if you have, like, super resurrection stones, this is not a fucking problem. But, well, even with super resurrection stones, you can't really make, like, a fat load of them. You can only make, like, one of them at a time, if I'm not mistaken. But my point is, right, when you go in here, you have fun, like, fighting, you know, all the little mini-bosses, and then you get to the big boss, which I am going to talk about Tyr. Tyr is the main boss in the whole Valhalla story mode, which, again, I thought was really cool, but dying on him sucks so much balls. And I'm going to show you, like, each version of the fight and how it felt going through them for me when I was playing God of War Ragnarok Valhalla, right? Or God of War, however you want to say, God of War Valhalla, God of War Ragnarok Valhalla, or whatever. But I want to show you, like, Tier 1, right? Tier 1, the fight with Tier 1. Here is Tier 1 Tyr. By the way, I know there's people coming in and out of the stream. Can you like the video? Appreciate that. But anyways, so you get the Tyr for the first time.
The good Spartan returns.
Right? You see Tyr, and this is what I found cool, but I think when Tyr pulls out this spear and shield, he actually went to Greece and actually took the same spear that Deimos and either Deimos had in God of War Ghost of Sparta, the same spear and shield. I think it's the same exact, and if it is, I love this as a reference. And just watch this fight. Obviously, first Tyr is the easiest, but god damn, bro. This fight was difficult, right? When going through it, all the moves you have to dodge and time right in terms of blocking and looking out for the unblockable moves. I remember I was here for a little bit, but since I was in the easiest difficulty, Tier 1, like, wasn't, like, ultra bad, but, you know, he's not easy. I had to focus and keep it. This is weird, but as soon as I opened up Valhalla, forgot to mention this because I feel like it's important to mention. As soon as I opened up Valhalla, I remember my hands sweating up really, really bad. Like, I'm talking more than what I'm used to on my Wii, when I'm playing Wii Sports, or early God of War stuff. Like, my hands, my palms were sweating so bad. Like, my body is telling me you should not be doing this shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's how bad my body was corresponding with everything. Like, it's so bad that I couldn't even believe, like, what I was actually going through, like, when playing God of War Ragnarok and shit. And the whole fight is crazy, right? And I want to show you guys, obviously, Tyr fight too. But, again, and I don't know, but the more I kept playing Valhalla, the more it was kind of, because obviously I did this in one night. I did all of Valhalla in one night because I really wanted that end cutscene so bad when it came to this whole thing. That's the whole reason I'm doing this, keep in mind, was that end cutscene. The cutscene everyone fucking talks about. The cutscene everyone uploaded as soon as they reached that bit, you know, in the Valhalla DLC. That's why I was doing this, right? To see that scene for myself, to get it for myself. But anyways, so, again, going through these freaking things, or going through Valhalla over and over again, I felt like it was endless repetition, and it didn't really, like, improve. It just kind of felt like they were setting me back to something I didn't really want to, like, go through and do over and over and over again. And when I was doing it on stream last night, I really felt that sort of urge to like stop playing because I remember how tiring and how boring. No, well, not boring. It was mainly just tiring pressing the R1 button or the R2 button for light and heavy attacks and lock-on feature for all these enemies and pressing X to roll the dodge roll all the time, or occasionally press circle to lift doors and whatnot, and hearing Mimir and Kratos talk about their love life with Surgeon or Kratos' life in Greece, and it was just like, oh my god, like it kind of felt like a slog after a while. But what made these runs kind of worth it when going into Valhalla was obviously like the different tier battles, because each tier fight, in my opinion, just gets better and better as it goes along. I remember tier 1 didn't take me so long, and so did tier 2. Here is tier number 2. And I remember when I fought tier 2... Welcome, Kratos. Honor me with another sparring match.
I brought something else to keep things interesting. You're not the only
This weapon was fucking annoying to deal with. I hated dealing with this weapon. This hammer sword lug thing. Like, I hated it so much dealing with this. And since I'm not good with countering, keep this in mind too. I'm not a God of War Ragnarok player. I played this before I played the actual Ragnarok game. But the difference is, you know, I watched my boy Rene YT play all of Ragnarok, so I know the entire story. It's just all the controls I have to remember, like, off key. I just have to remember right off the bat before fighting any of this. But tier 2, like I said again, was so sluggish, annoying, difficult, kind of. And essentially, since I don't know, like, what I'm doing, kind of, when fighting tier, or just playing God of War, these God of War games for the most part, I don't know how to really activate all my moves. So really, I'm just using Axe the whole time, and Blades of Chaos, and switching, and rolling, and just fighting the best I can with shield punishes over and over and over again. But that's tier 2 for the most part. And I remember, again, when going for tier 2, he pissed me off a lot, you know? He got me. But I did beat him, I think, first try, and keep in mind, this was even in easy mode. And again, I'm not on that energy, okay, when it comes to wanting a challenging boss. Like I said, I'm either on board with it or completely off board with the whole idea of a challenge. You guys gotta know that, okay? Again, not really a full-on God of War, you know, new-gen player, okay? I'm okay at best. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really, again, really fucking with it very heavily or whatnot. I just don't really like the whole idea. Just kind of, sort of, woulda, you know? Kind of woulda, shoulda, in a way. But again, and then after you beat tier 2, you have to go through another set, another attempt at the gauntlet. And also, when you get to those rifts, keep this in mind too, the rifts get harder and harder to defeat and battle, and also Helios is kind of fucking annoying. Also, getting the Blades of Chaos as your rage mode was really cool when you're in the Greece land. I thought that was really cool. But outside of some of that other stuff, again, going for more and more runs was so repetitive. I think I actually died around, like, tier 3 a lot. I have to remember, because, like, keep in mind, my memory wants to be there, but also not there all at the same time when, again, dealing with this shit. But anyways, let me show you guys tier fight 3. Just to kind of give y'all an idea what tier fight number 3 even was, right? Let me give y'all an idea. Here's tier fight number 3. I remember tier 1 and tier 2, I remembered because I watched a video, but tier 3, this is when I started shitting myself. Because when I saw these fucking blades, I was like, what the hell is this, bro? Oh! And he grabs you and shit, and I was barely dodging those attacks and stuff. Y'all saw the gameplay if y'all watched my video. It was so fucking tough. Meanwhile, like I said, I'm not good at these types of games, so I'm not really going to be shield parrying and blocking all of this. Maybe Ronnie will when he eventually does this. Not sure if he's going to do this on stream or not. But I remember I fucking sucked so bad during this fight. I remember I was dying so much. And it is just a pain in the ass. He tries to lunge at you, man. Swing at you. I think he even does the darkness shit, if I can remember correctly. It's just been a little bit since I fought him, because it was all last night, and I'm trying to forget about it. Type shit. But yeah, oh yeah, he does do the darkness. This is what was scary, right? So he goes up in the air, or a little bit before this, I can't remember. You'll see. Watch, right here. So if you're wondering what the hell this is, Tyr says, "Darkness, come!" And he actually puts the whole room in darkness. And you have to run to the light in order to see Tyr. If you're not in that light, you will literally go back to being in pitch darkness, not able to see Tyr. And I remember that freaked me out during Tyr fight number 3 so badly. That I was thrown off by his game. But I think I was actually going to die. I was like around right here in HP. After the fight was over, this fight, Tier 3, was just freaking tough all around, right? But the real Tier, in my opinion, was Tier 4. Tier 4 was a different breed of Tier. Let me show y'all why real quick. And also, keep in mind, when I was going through those rifts and shit, I was having a little bit of fun with this, like the gameplay of Ragnarok. Funny enough. Because before, in Ragnarok, with all the dialogue, talking over and over again, I wasn't enjoying it. But when getting straight to the point and getting straight into the action, it's actually a little bit more fun. To me, anyway, it's a little bit more fun. It becomes a little bit more bearable. I mean, the whole reason why I put up with this gameplay in the first place is because of the ending. And this scared me the most. He said I told Chris that Tyr only has 3 fights. I was mistaken because when I came up here, I was like, oh my god, he actually has a 4th fight. And he pulls out this katana shit. And what y'all are about to witness freaked me out, right? The amount of times you gotta block and dodge, and yes, he switches weapons mid-joint. He also clones himself and shit. I thought that was fucking freaky. He brings his weapons back from the 3rd fight. His timings on everything is a little bit more difficult just to do overall. And I was sitting there like, Jesus fuck, he's literally bringing everything he has against me over and over. That move was fucking annoying, trying to dodge and block and shit. Same with that, like, I'm gonna throw my spear down shit, and this ice shit was bad too. I hated it so much. But yeah, he combines all this the whole fight, and then it gets worse, because look at this. Later, okay, that's an ad. Tyr has the power of ads for some reason. I don't know why I'm not able to skip them bitches, but basically Tyr will go into the air and summon Minotaur enemies and whatnot to come on your ass. And it is difficult fighting like those basic enemies. And then Tyr kind of vanishing, coming down, saying, "What's good?" and fights you again too. I remember dealing with that. I died so many fucking times on Tier 4 in comparison to Tier 1, 2, and 3. Keep in mind, even in easy mode, right, the easiest difficulty, which I'm kind of glad this happened, I was dying left and right. I was dying left and right due to too much damage at too quick of a time for me to regenerate or get rage back up or anything. It was difficult for me. I remember fighting Tier 4, I was kind of hating it because, you know, like I said, every single time you die in Valhalla, no matter how far or how close you were to beating it, you end up like having to restart that entire attempt over and over and over again. And since I kept repeating Tier 4 over and over and over and over again, I said this to J-Bro. I was like, J-Bro, I'm getting sick of this shit because it is really repetitive. Again, the gameplay for this shit is extremely repetitive. And in terms of like going to the same 5 to 6 rooms or same areas over and over again just to get another attempt at Tier 4 to die on. I'm getting sick of this shit. you know, if I don't beat tier, I'm gonna quit. You know, I actually genuinely said that in my God of War Ragnarok footage. I said, dudes, I'm genuinely gonna quit. You know, I'm tired of this shit. And plus, as well, YouTube did not send notifications for the tier fight whatsoever, right? And after I said that, this happened. And this is on tier 4. I'm going to show the short instead of the whole stream, but I'm going to show the short version of this. My short. This is what happened on tier 4 when I finally got him down. Oh, god damn it, it's muted again. I keep forgetting I mute the TV. But here is what happened at the end of tier 4.
Stop.
Keep in mind, I was at final tier. And by the way, y'all shot this video up, keep in mind. This is at 1,000 views, by the way. And I literally uploaded this last night, the same night that I did it. Thank you, by the way. Appreciate y'all. But actually beating this felt so good. I don't care what difficulty, bro. Because, to be real, because I was seeing a lot of posts about difficulty and whatnot. I'm like, I don't care, bro. Tier 4 was putting me through the ringer last night. I was dying more than 5-6 different times due to too much damage at so little time. And also, I linked, I have the final part of Valhalla linked on the little YouTube thing. But my point is, for the video, if you guys want to watch the short and then go watch the entire live stream, that's fine too. But yeah, I remember final tier was putting me through the ringer so fucking badly that, like, and it was like getting really late, and I didn't want to scream to high heaven, "Fuck you, tier!" But I was genuinely going to do that. I was so close to doing that when I beat final tier, but I realized how late it was, so that's what I mustered up. I tried to control it, but also let it go all at the same time, you know, and it kind of worked out, you know. But yeah, but anyways, let me show you guys. I was so happy making it here for my first time.
You know you want.
Over it, like, just over again. And I feel like a lot of people downgrade this scene, but in my opinion, I love this scene. I know there's a lot of people that hated Ragnarok and God of War 4 that also didn't like this scene, but for me, as a God of War player, I love the ending of Valhalla. The ending of Valhalla, I think I would argue, is the best part of Valhalla. Like, it's honestly so rewarding, especially after fighting Tyr for, like, 4 different times, and you finally reach this point. You finally reach the door, and this shit happens. I'm gonna turn it up for y'all so I can see it. Like, after fighting final tier, you get this, you get some dialogue before you go in, and then you go in, and this happens.
What can I say to you? I remember how it felt to take that throne. All that it meant. And all that it did not. A god of war. God of pain. Of suffering. Of destruction. And no one said I chase redemption that I know I can never deserve. What does that make me? God of fools. God of... hope. When all else is lost. You lost everything. Everyone. You became... There is no forgiving you. You chose! Should I sit, take, proclaim, lead, place myself into service? In service? Or should I lose everything and everyone? There's to be enough of this side so that I do not become you. I do not know. But I have hope. You are cruel and arrogant and selfish. But you are more than that. You have always been more than what others saw. You are more than that.
I love that line. I love this entire moment so much. I've cried watching this shit. I relate to this shit. I've watched this shit so many times on YouTube. It's not even funny how much I've watched this. Like, even before Chris had the idea of playing Valhalla, or even when Chris had the idea of playing Valhalla, I was watching this. I remember everyone posting YouTube videos about this moment, and I was so happy, you know, Kratos actually confronted his younger self and had that speech with himself, bettering himself in the process. Wow. What a way to end God of War Valhalla. That's why I put Kratos in the chair as a thumbnail, because I love that moment so much. And that moment you guys watched is the sole reason why I wanted to play Valhalla for myself. Fuck Ragnarok, fuck all that. I wanted to play this for Kratos' development. Because, as you guys know, I've been playing God of War like crazy. You know, I have played God of War 1, Olympus, Ghost of Sparta, God of War 2, God of War 3. I've read up on the God of War comics, you know, Fallen God and some of the other ones. I've read up on all of that stuff. So seeing this moment with Kratos confronting himself and looking at himself from within, I don't know, to me, I loved that. And I know there's not a lot of people out there that do love that. A lot of people are pretty mixed when it comes to that moment in God of War. Some people really like it, some people really hate it, but I'm on the side of really loving God of War Ragnarok's, like, ending. You know, with Kratos finally accepting who he is as a man, you know, accepting what he's done, moving on from it, and not just living in the past, just moving on, being him in the now, not him and not him then. I love it. I love it so much, and the more I watch it, the more it becomes one of my favorite moments in God of War, and that's just from free DLC. And I know it's crazy that someone like me that really hated Ragnarok in 2018 all that much in terms of gameplay, that, like I said, I enjoyed the stories, but the gameplay was always my issue and why I never completed it. That's the reason why I put up with the gameplay, that moment right there. But Alan, you didn't really need to do that. You could have just watched it on YouTube instead of just going through Valhalla yourself. Again, I wanted to experience Valhalla for myself. I wanted to see what it was like, see what people are struggling with, see how Tyr is for the first time. And I kind of wanted my own experience. Like, don't get me wrong, watching Rene YT do Valhalla is amazing, goated. I love watching him, but, you know, and I understand why he takes as many breaks as he does on Valhalla, since he's doing it in Give Me God of War difficulty and stuff, so that's tough. But I don't know, for me, I just wanted, like, to do it myself a little bit and kind of, you know, understand Valhalla, get that God of War craving that I had out of my system. And also, it's just, again, it's so satisfying seeing that cutscene right after defeating Tyr. And I already know. I remember when this first dropped. I want to add something. I remember when that shit first dropped. I thought we were going to get a young Kratos secret boss fight. I thought we were. I thought we were going to get one last boss fight with his younger self to show that older Kratos is more powerful. That would have been the coldest shit ever. Playing God of War 3 Kratos with all his abilities and him being one of the hardest bosses you've ever fought. It would have been one of the raddest things, but we didn't get that, which is kind of sad. And, you know, other dude that voiced Kratos back in the earlier games didn't get to come in and voice Kratos, because I would have loved to have them speak against each other, but it makes sense why, you know, young Kratos didn't speak in that moment and whatnot, and so on and so forth. It just makes a whole lot of sense, and I kind of wanted to just bring that up because, again, I remember when it first dropped, me and Ronnie were there, me, Ronnie, Nick, everybody that wanted to play Ragnarok were there. Day one it dropped, and then literally a few hours later, people were dropping the ending because they beat the game that fast and whatnot. It was a time to be alive. But, does Valhalla, like, save Ragnarok as a game for me? Honestly, I see God of War Valhalla as its own thing than being a part of Ragnarok as an experience. Because once you go into it, like, in the beginning, again, once you go into, again, God of War Valhalla, like, as DLC, they treat it as a separate mode. I know it's in Ragnarok, so technically it is a part of it, but I feel like it's also not a part of it at the same time, because I feel like some people treat Valhalla as its own unique thing. I mean, it is its own unique experience, because God of War hasn't had something like this in a fat minute or in this style of God of War game, but does it redeem everything Ragnarok did? Hell to the fuck no. But it does get rid of a lot of my issues with Ragnarok and making the gameplay way more tolerable. Way less talking, way less skippable dialogue or non-skippable dialogue. Way quicker into... I mean, it did take a little bit for the action, but when it got into the action, there were moments where it was in the action, then not in the action. You know what I mean? It just felt... It felt like God of War Ragnarok, Alex? It felt like God of War Ragnarok, but like a million times better and a million times shorter. That's what this game felt like to me. And I know I said God of War Ragnarok was the peakest thing back in the day when I was watching Ronnie do it, but that was from somebody who was watching. You know, that wasn't someone who had to deal with the gameplay and whatnot, you know what I mean, that had to sit there for all those hours dealing with the gameplay and them going like chip, 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 talk, 24-7. I'm not there for that. If I wanted that, I'd go freaking watch a YouTube video about someone yap all day. Watch one of my shits, you know what I'm saying, if I want to hear someone yap all day. But, because I'm there for the gameplay and the epicness of God of War, I just hope, and this is a little bit off topic, I just hope when Kratos goes to different pantheons, he brings hope to those pantheons, or he fights those gods because of reasons like they kidnapped Atreus or something or whatnot. They started fucking with family. Since Kratos is like god of dad now, like dad of the gods, you know, so it just makes sense. Like if Atreus gets freaking fucked up, Kratos is not afraid to murk a nigga for Atreus' own safety and whatnot, right? I would love if they decided to go that route and have Kratos kill more gods. I'm sorry, I'm just used to Kratos slaying gods, being a badass, because that's kind of essentially an awesome moment for his character. But anyways, again, God of War Valhalla, it was so much fun, though, like, the repetitiveness and repeating run after run after run after losing to Tier 4 multiple times was fucking annoying, but it felt so good putting that dude in his place and getting that final bit with Kratos talking to his younger self. I love that moment so much. I know I'm repeating myself. It's just such a perfect God of War moment in the modern day. I love that moment so much. I think, in my opinion, it solos a lot of moments from Ragnarok. Just base Ragnarok alone, to be honest. I would argue something that's better than maybe the Kratos vs. Young Kratos moment is probably when Thor first showed up and they had their first fight and their cutscenes were like really cool. But other than that, I would think that Kratos and Kratos meeting younger self in Valhalla just solos a lot of the other scenes Ragnarok even had. In my opinion. I know that's not what a lot of you guys are thinking. A lot of you guys are thinking, yo, this dude is bonkers or something for saying all this stuff. But yeah, that's my thoughts on God of War Ragnarok Valhalla, my experience, my surprising experience. Because I say surprising because I actually ended up enjoying the gameplay, my least favorite aspect of it, a little bit more than, or just somewhat more than what I ever did with base God of War 4 and Ragnarok. I don't know how that's fucking possible. Even I was kind of sitting there like, wow, I'm actually enjoying using the Leviathan axe. Wow, I'm actually enjoying using the Blades of Chaos in this game, even if it is for little bits and pieces. You know? And that was, wow, I enjoyed that a little bit. That's why it's so surprising. But also, it is annoying when enemies constantly put you in a bind and the realm's getting stronger. That's also fucking annoying. And then, like, trying to run to those little little portal things and constantly open them and close them before you have to fight Tyr every single time. Very fucking annoying. But, again, other than small nitpicks and being annoyed at some things and really liking something. By the way, the music in Valhalla, I forgot to mention this in my Sonic video, but the music for Sonic X Shadow I thought was really good. I enjoyed some of it. Some of it I was turned off by, but that's not it. But the music here in God of War, it doesn't shit all over, but I love the God of War music for Valhalla. I loved it so much. I thought it was very enjoyable. You know, I forgot to mention that. Even Tyr's theme, which I'm going to give y'all a little taste of some of the tracks that Valhalla actually had. Here, so let me give y'all a little bit of the music for Valhalla and why I love it so much and all that. Which there wasn't really that many songs, but one of my favorites was, you know, Tyr's theme and shit and whatnot. Ratatouille, welcome to stream. Like, dude, when you hear Tyr shit, you're like sitting there like, shit. This is cool. And you got the Master Yourself theme. I don't care about copyright. Copyright, whatever, bro. I love God of War. Yeah, God of War, Ragnarok. Again, base Ragnarok can care less about, but Valhalla, I love that shit. Question, would I do it again? You know, that's another question, but anyways, here's Masters Thyself Combat version 2. Bro, and hearing this during combat was so cool because it gives you like a throwback of Greece. And you guys know how good, like, God of War, OG God of War music is. So just listening to God of War Valhalla's music is just a chef's kiss. And then you have Face the Past, its multiple versions. Hello, my good friend. Yoli Barra, welcome to stream. You're sitting there like, God damn. Because I remember I was sitting there when I was sitting there listening to these OSTs over and over and over again, I couldn't help but like enjoy my time a little bit more in the combat because of this music, this theme and stuff. Because everything's reminded me of Greece. You know what I mean? And everyone loves the Greece saga of God of War. So it's like, I can't help but enjoy myself a little bit more whenever I hear the tracks in this game. By the way, that's like some of the unreleased music and stuff for Valhalla and God of War Ragnarok. But anyways, I should get out of here. I've geeked out long enough on this 44 minutes. But yeah, again, Ragnarok or Valhalla. Yeah, I think this is easily the best part of Ragnarok. I don't know. I don't know what other people are gonna think when they watch this video, but that's just my opinion. Y'all opinions are gonna be vastly different than mine. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you liked God of War 4 or God of War Ragnarok. I didn't like either one, but Valhalla somehow made me enjoy the game a little bit more. I know I'm repeating myself. I apologize. I'm gonna get the fuck out. I just wanna, you know. You know, just throw that bitch, or the using the blades. That shit's cool. Oh, I might replay God of War Ascension, so look out for that re-experience video. But yeah, until then, see you guys next time. Peace. Yeah.